There we go. I feel so nervous a little bit, but welcome everyone to the SVK Network, and I'm going to call this one the Howling Moons Podcast Show, which I'm super excited today to bring back these legends. I call you guys legends because I saw a show the other day. You're not supposed to say rock stars. Paul Stanley said that on a commercial at Super Bowl. Is we're not supposed to say rock stars if we're not a rock star. Did you know that, Sean?
Well, I think we're a little bit of a rock star.
Just a little, little. Well, Paul's a rock star chef. How's that?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
You guys.
All right. Well, before we get started, can we do some land acknowledgement?
100%. Take it off there, Jay. You start.
All right. So before we get started, folks, I'm honored to do this today. The lands of which Edmonton sits in the North Saskatchewan River that runs through this, it has been in the sites of the natural abundance, ceremony, and culture, travel, and rest, relationship building, making this a tradition, trading for Indigenous people since time. Now, Edmonton is located within the Treaty 6 territory and within the Métis homeland, Métis National of Alberta, Region 4. Did I do that right, Sean, so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, I'm trying, buddy. We acknowledge this land as the traditional territories of many First Nations, such as the Cree, the Dene. Did I do that right? Dene, Stoney, the Blackfoot, the Cree, the Sioux, and this last one I don't want to say it wrong. Soto, yes. So the city of Edmonton owns its strengths and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse Indigenous people who ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as settlers from around the world who continue to be welcomed here and call Edmonton home. So it's totally honored to be able to do this today, as you guys have allowed me to be able to, first of all, welcome you to my network and to be able to share the amazing stuff that we learn about the Indigenous culture. I'm just honored to do this. And I love when you guys are on the show and to be able to give you a platform to speak the amazing things about not only your company, but about the Indigenous culture, food. It's an honor. So thank you so much for today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, I'd like to follow up there, Jay, with your land acknowledgement. I was born in Saskatoon, Treaty 6, raised in your area there, Edmonton, St. Albert, Treaty 6 as well. But now I've been out here for 34 years on the West Coast. Quequitlam, Katesy, and Kwantlen First Nations that my office resides on now. This is my beautiful office I'm sitting at. And again, just being honored and respectful to our lands that we reside on. Thank you.
So, Paul,
Yep.
do you do a land acknowledgement out there as well?
Yeah. So here, where I'm located, we're in the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh Nation territory, and I'm located in the North Shore, right behind my nation, the Squamish Nation territory.
Very cool. So I'm excited. I have a question for both of you. And like you said, I'm just honored that you guys allow me to ask some questions here that I just don't, because I'm learning about the Indigenous culture and everything else. I have to ask this question. It may be kind of bizarre in a way, Sean. We didn't prep for this one. But is there anywhere outside of North America that people do that don't do land acknowledgements, or is this something that people do in other countries other than North America, like in South America or different areas? Because I think it's amazing.
I think every nation, which is it's well over 100,000 Indigenous nations around the world.
Okay.
They all, if you look back in history and a lot about our White Buffalo Coffee Company is about the history remembered and acknowledging it. So I think, when we travel to different countries, you're always honoring their ethnic and Indigenous ways. I know when I travel, I love learning about the different cultures around the world. and definitely respectful of that. And you know
Hmm.
what? At the end of the day, if all of our nations respect this world, it'll be a better place.
I like that. You're absolutely right. So I think it's so cool. I'm glad that we do that. And I'm honored to have that as a part of our show. So
Hmm. Yeah,
It,
pretty
man.
cool, dude. Pretty cool. So Paul,
yo.
what are you doing over there? What are you doing there?
Yeah, so
What are you gonna
today,
do? What are you gonna do for us? First of all, let me just before you get started, Paul.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
This is the month of the bear.
Yes.
Yes, right. So Sean, share us before Paul shares this because I think this is
Sure.
important because you
Yeah,
guys created such a nice relationship here on this.
exactly. So we're kind of basing this whole podcast on howling moons, and we thought of that through our 13 moon cycles. That the White Buffalo Coffee Company is an Anishinaabe coffee company, so we like to acknowledge those 13 moons and the 13 moon cycles. Speaking about Indigenous groups and nations and peoples of the world, all over the world, they celebrate the ceremony with the moon cycles. And this February and the Anishinaabe moon cycle is the bear moon, and it's about nourishing. As our last month we spoke about, it was about reflection and getting energy, and this one is about nourishing, and really important that the female bear gives birth to her cubs in the den, and it's about nourishment and growing from there. And I think Paul and myself, we came up with a great idea here, and I'm going to definitely give it over to Paul to let him tell you about what we're going to be cooking up today.
yeah, so I'm super excited. Like you said, we're celebrating nourishments and feeding the bears. So if you come take a look at camera 2 here, we got some blackberries, some blueberries, and some honey. And I'm gonna be doing some macerated berries. We're gonna add some sugar and some fresh lemon or lime zest and lime juice to it, and we're gonna get that marinating. And then of course we have some bannock. We can't make a dish without some bannock from Mr. Bannock.
I like that he can't make a dish without Mr. Bannock. That sounds like a jingle there, Paul.
Yeah,
I
well,
think that's what you need.
it's definitely like one of the fan favorites when you talk about indigenous foods. Like if you go to powwows or any major gathering, different families have different recipes and different styles that they would do, and that's what we do with Mr. Bannock, right? So we have the Bannock as the base, like a bun, you would say. I call it a quick bread. So you can bake it, you can fry it, uh, you can even do Bannock pizzas with it. We've done a lot of media, and Bannock pizzas are one of the favorites. But it's what you do with
Oh,
it. Yeah,
I never
the
thought of that, but I think that's a pizza thing that we gotta work on.
yeah. Well,
Next
the
show. Next show.
Yeah, it's what you do with it, right? Like the bannock is the base, but like here we have the fresh berries, and then on the pizza you would have the cheese and your favorite toppings. One of the best ones that we do on a food truck is smoked meat. So we do like smoked salmon, we do slow smoked pork, smoked chicken, like you name it, right? And that's some of the ancient cooking methods that I love to showcase and share with everybody.
So Paul, I have to ask you a question as you make this dish. You just
Yep.
keep going. I'm gonna ask you questions while you make this.
So I'm just
So
gonna mix
I,
berries here.
I yeah. So I have a question for you, Paul. While you're
Yep.
making that, and just tell me to be quiet if I'm bugging you too much. But
That's all good.
is what is one of the things that people do wrong with Bannock? Like when they
Uh,
go to do and they prepare it, what's one of the things that people you always go, oh man, not again? Because there's got to be
well,
something.
yeah. It definitely takes a lot of skill and like experience to do it, because you can overcook it, you can undercook it, and a lot of people do like bannock that's kind of doughy yet.
Okay,
And
yeah, yeah.
like I've been cooking indigenous food for like some time, like professionally since 2009, like in a
Mhm.
kitchen.
Yeah.
So definitely there was a lot of error, but I learned from that. And
Yeah.
with our bannock mixes that we have, it's a mixture of both my grandmother's recipe, and like you can bake it, you can fry it, like you name it. But I just took both of their methods that they did when I was younger and altered it just a little so it could be vegan friendly, so everybody can
Mhm.
have it.
Hey, Paul.
Now, there's so there's Bannocks out there that are not vegan friendly. Like, is that some of the things
Yeah,
that are out there, Paul? Yeah.
yeah, like there's some of them have eggs or milk in there, and like that's not
Okay.
really vegan friendly, right? But I just took out some of that stuff and altered it so everybody can have a taste of it, right? But it took a lot of testing and a lot of error just to perfect what I do. You know, like I said, I've been cooking since 2009, 2010 professionally, focusing on indigenous foods, and
Awesome.
lot of trial and error. Like everybody sees my mix here in a bag like that, but it went through a lot of trial and error.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, Sean, I have a question for you. I'm just like I'm asking so many questions. And, um, so is Bannock is like every indigenous community in Canada? Do they have special Bannocks like within the community too, or is there a community Bannock, or is it individually? Like, how's it all work?
Yeah, you know what? I think Paul kind of touched a little bit on that. It's passed down through generations. So depending on their mixture and that, and when I first had Bannock, it was on a stick, and I was going to actually ask Paul that question is because we had to have it a little bit more doughy, for instance, to put it onto our stick over an open fire. And I was going to ask Paul, have you ever tried that?
Yeah, like growing up on the North Shore here, everybody who has knows about outdoor school, and that's in Squamish, BC. That's about maybe 40-minute drive. And one of the things that I remember the most is making bannock on a stick, but also they had these really old school cedar baskets, and they were like waterproof. So
Yeah.
they heated hot rocks in there, and then we made like a salmon soup with bannock on a stick, and that was just hugely like really traditional, and like that was still like in the back of my memory. Like, and this was back in elementary school, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just something you don't see all the time, right?
Oh no, that's so cool though.
Yeah, that's what I
So
remember too, Jay, is growing up having Bannock made. I guess, just not really realizing, the traditional values, but all I knew was really good. And
Hmm.
we'd put some butter on that, and we'd be eating that on a regular basis. So, yeah, you know what? It's all about the nourishment, and I think we can reflect on that as well. This is the staple to a lot of diets throughout North America and so forth. And each one of these moon cycles will be introducing will be different times of the year where different areas, different animals are harvested, fish are harvested. And each moon cycle will be describing each one of those. I don't want to give too much away because we want to tune in next month for which
Yeah.
is the sucker moon, but it's about survival. And so I'll give you a little bit of that, just a little preempt on that one, because I really want people to tune in next month and find out all about the survival moon. So yeah, pretty excited about that. But you know what, our bear moon, I wanna add to it. So I was my given name was my Indigenous name is Mr. Musqua, which is Big Bear. And then I adopted Medik, which is Simshan for grizzly bear, and I'm very proud of that. And it was one of the names that was given to me because by an elder that the way I presented and walked through. It was a crowd in 2009, and he goes, "You walk a straight path, and that's grizzly bear." And so I'm really proud to be part of that, in the respect that given a name, and I held it I hold it well, and I just it's something that means a lot to me, and learning more about Chief Big Bear. He was buried in Palmaker, just out of Saskatoon. That's where I was born, and just a lot of the different history that was around Chief Big Bear, and I again invite the podcast viewers to do some research on that, because it is part of Canadian history, and very proud of what he meant to history. So again, it's all about these teachings that we continue to pass on and keep alive. The traditions of the Bannock, the berries, the fish and the animals of Turtle Islands.
Very cool. So, Paul, what you got going there? Thank you,
Yeah.
Sean.
So
what did you do there? I missed that. I had the wrong camera.
Yeah.
What did you do there? So did you do that by hand?
Yep. Well, we macerated these berries. There's a little bit of sugar, lemon juice, and the zest. So that's marinating, and it'll develop like a tartness. And then here we had about 2 cups of Bannock. I mixed it, and then I added maybe about a cup and a half of water. And then it's just frying just over here. So
what's it smell like? What's it smell like right now?
It smells like fresh bread being made, and
It's got to be good.
A lot of the people down the res get kind of upset sometimes because they smell that all the time, right?
They smell that all the time.
Yeah, and our stuff usually goes really fast, right? But these are mini breads that we have, and then we're gonna coat it lightly with a little bit of sugar. We got the macerated berries, and then we have an awesome espresso ice cream that we made with White Buffalo coffee. So all of the flavors come together. You get the crispiness from the fried bread, the tart tang from the macerated berries, the coffee ice cream, and then we're gonna drizzle it with a little bit of honey. So it's pretty good. It smells amazing already, and this just brings back big memories. Like we're cooking this in a cast iron pan here on my induction burner.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandmothers used to cook in cast irons all the time, and
yeah, I love a cast iron.
Yeah, I just remember going over there. Like I grew up with my grandmother Maria Diskin because my dad passed away when I was young. But like if they were having some stuff that I didn't like, I would sneak over to my other grands, and she would make a lot of stuff in these cast irons. So just a lot of memories, and like happy thoughts, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's that I can sense that too with that whole cast. When you said that, I actually could smell memory. Like then, I always get those smell memories.
Yeah,
How like we trigger the memory of those smells. When you said the cast iron, I was like, I can smell like my mom's cooking in the cast iron, right?
yeah,
I always say like, so I like British, English, Irish, and British. My family. That's fun.
yeah.
And it was like the frying of the pork chop on a Sunday, or like on the weekday. Dad would be like, "Yeah, let me cook pork chops. I'll do the supper." Right? And everyone would be like, "No," because he would
Yeah.
make like the pork chops that would make your gums bleed. Like they were so dry, right? Or like
Yeah.
can of soup, the mushroom can of soup, and that was his skill level was pork chops and mushroom soup.
In a
So
skill.
God bless him, but it was a thing my grandma, and I knew where he got it from, was my grandma. We used to make biscuits, so that's a very British thing, right?
Yeah.
Biscuits, right? But
Well,
they're
that's
not the biscuits that people think like you get at Tim Hortons and stuff. They were the
oh
biscuits that grandma would be like, I made biscuits, when you'd come over and you'd be like, everyone would be like running to hide because they were the driest, hardest, like puck biscuit. Like you could not douse enough butter. Like
yeah.
butter would soak into it and it would still be hard.
Oh
Like,
man.
like no, no wonder British's arteries, like the dad's arteries, everything were so much because you had to use like a pound of butter for. That's why I was telling my mom. This is my other mom, on
Yeah.
the chicken wing thing. But the
Oh
pucks, they were
nice.
pucks, and they were like pure white and dry. Like you
Yeah.
dip it in a coffee and it'd still be dry. Like they were so hard.
Yeah.
You say cast iron, it brings back memories. I love that.
Well,
We'll have
it's
to.
it offers like different like you're saying, just that different smell and
Yeah.
flavor that it brings, especially if you put butter in there, like and you brown
Oh,
it just a little bit, like
yeah.
that nutty flavor that you get from it.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
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 And
I like a cast iron over an open flame too. Like you
yeah,
go camping and stuff.
yeah. Well,
I love that.
we filmed a documentary that's going to be coming out soon with ICANN, the nonprofit that I'm a part of,
Yeah.
and we went into up the Squamish Valley, and we cooked over open flame. I brought my cast iron pans, and like it was just amazing. Like the indigenous foods that we brought up there. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I think it's coming out hopefully next month. They're just
Nice.
finishing some edits on there, but I'm super excited.
So Sean, I have a question for you regarding like this flame and cooking stuff out in flames. Is there some parts of the indigenous culture that like still like how much is that open flame and cooking on it a part of the indigenous culture still today? Like do people do this just for
You know,
ceremonies? Is this because I see it all the time?
yeah, of course, cooking with fires. We're going way back in
Yeah.
history. That's the main reason of advancements in the human race. But I think it's more of the caring and the drying, which is so important to the indigenous communities. And each one has its own distinct, ways that have been, again, through traditional information passed on by the elders. And I think that's, there's so many different ways and so many different foods that have done that, cured and preserved. Because again, um, when we're trying to feed and nourish throughout the moon cycles, it's each food is stored in a certain way or eaten at that time, but each one
Mm.
had a purpose throughout the year. And we'll be focusing again throughout the year on different foods and different uses and why it was so important, for the nourishing, as the bear moon here is about nourishment, to have that, and then again, our next moon will be the survival. It's incredible. It really is, and I know Paul can contest to that. That each one of his traditional foods are done, whether it's a smoked salmon or a candied salmon. The bannock that would be stored in a dry place so they can continue making it throughout, West Coast being very wet. And there's different ways of storing that as well. So it's interesting, and we're continuing. Like myself, I'm continuing to learn each day as we move through these moon cycles on different foods, and I'm just so excited to be part of this, Jay, with you and learning on a daily basis. Incredible.
Well, this is awesome. So, Paul, back to Paul.
Yeah.
What you got there?
So this is
You're quick. How long was that? Whoa! Wait a minute.
This
is different than that Sesame Street clip from the '80s.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about, right, Sean? You saw it. You all saw that. We all were raised in Sesame Street. We get it.
So this is the cast iron fried bannock that we got.
God, that's awesome already.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing there?
So this is the mini bannocks, and we have just very simple plain sugar that we're gonna coat with it, just like so. And then we got some of the macerated berries here. We're gonna put a little bit on, just give it one more mix.
I am getting hungry.
So
you have no idea, Sean. Try doing this 5 days a week.
We got the
Try to do this all the time, Sean. To watch these amazing chefs. I sit here sucking back a coffee, which is.
And then the coffee ice cream on there.
Thank you.
It's so hot. Look at it just fall off, right?
So, and then you put honey on top?
Yeah, there's a little bit of honey on there.
Nice.
Just a little bit extra because bears are hibernating and they need some energy, So that's the fried bannock with macerated berries, the white buffalo espresso ice cream, and drizzled with a little bit of honey.
Some dunk. Give us another camera. Give us camera one. Pull it up to the camera. Let me see side angle. There you go. There's a close up for you, Sean.
Yeah, there you go. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh.
So
how's that coffee ice cream? Because I could use.
It's so good. Like it has a little bit of like the kick from coffee, right?
Yeah.
And then just a little bit of the creaminess from ice cream, right? But mixed with just try to get a little bite here. That's a kind of
it's almost like a vanilla latte. Okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So
that doesn't taste good at all, eh?
It's
so good.
It's something that people can do at home too. Is mix cold brew or espresso shot in with their vanilla ice cream. You can top it with the vanilla ice cream, and it's delicious. If you're a coffee lover, you're an ice cream lover. Please try it at home. Do try this at home.
Do try at home. Yes. Play with this at home.
That bite there, like I got like a big punch of the coffee flavor mixed with the bread and the sweetness. I was like, oh, there's like a party going on right now,
I love that. So can you just grab another one, Paul? Another bannock there that you've done. I just want to. I want you to pull a close up of it, and I want you to tear it apart because I'm not. I gotta get in here because first of all, I have this vision that it smells incredibly well right now in your kitchen.
Yeah. So
it smells. Can you just pull it apart?
Oh.
I saw steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah,
magic
but
about.
us British people are like, can you add butter to that?
That's hilarious,
Can we add butter to it? Can I butter that up now?
right?
Like, is there steam? Like, I want to add butter, but it's probably not needed.
But like, look at how thick that is, right? Like,
I know,
if
it's
you go
huge.
to if you go to any kind of feasts or powwows, they usually have Navajo style bread, and it's thin, like pretty
Yeah,
thin, but just a little bit thicker than like a tortilla. But this one's
it's
like
that thin, hey?
super thick, right?
That is super thick,
Oh,
and it's
Woo!
hot, steam. Yeah, thanks.
hey,
Yeah,
Paul,
It
toast
looks
style.
awesome. I want to see a pizza. I want to see a Bannock pizza. That's kind of my
yeah.
next thing. I'm kind of interested about that.
Well,
Hey,
that
You know
was
Jay,
what we should? You know what we should do is we should turn the table here. We should get Sean to cook the Bannock pizza next time.
hey,
oh yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
your idea, Jay, with the whole infusion of Indigenous with Italian. Because when the moon's in the sky like a big piece of butter, amore. That's
that's
my
awesome.
saying.
I
So, hey,
can't mute his mic, Paul. Not fast. You gotta warn me next time. Well, this, you know what?
Well,
First of all, just I thank you both on this stuff, and um, Paul, just thanks for sharing us these recipes. Like seriously, I love the fact that they're both from your grandparents, and then you've
yeah,
combined them, tweaked them a little, gave them your spin, and
yeah,
shared that with us today. Really, honestly, thank you. It's just I love that. I've been in this industry not as long as that guy up there, but I've been around a long time. I always say I'm old, and then he goes, "Oh, I got 2 years on you." So. Anyways, I've been in the industry a long time. I have never heard. I've heard people, using their mom's recipe or their grandparents' recipe, but
yeah,
combining both. Like,
yeah,
first of all, just a little shot on my own, but if I did that on my family heritage, the recipe wouldn't taste good. Just so
yeah.
they wouldn't work together.
That's funny.
It wouldn't come out good. But I love the fact that you did that, and I think that's so cool. That is an idea I think others could do as well, and to incorporate it into a dish like you did.
Yeah,
Thank you again, Paul. I love the story. I love learning so much about your culture. Like I said, we all need to learn more about it every day, and we need to incorporate it into our menus as much as we can. And I think you showed a wicked idea that anyone could do, and
yeah.
um, yeah, it's awesome
Well,
stuff. So thank you.
the berries are like really traditional, right? Like the blackberries is definitely one of my favorite because uh,
Oh,
back in the day we used to get the large ice cream buckets and go hand pick them like around the reserve, right? These days,
really?
yeah,
Were they big? Were they big like you have there? Like they were
massive.
big at the.
they used
This
to be
no
bigger.
way.
Yeah,
Shut
like
up.
this is pretty big, but
That's huge.
yeah, they used to be bigger like back in the day when I was young, you know.
No way.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember when we used to go, always the older one, so I was kind of a little bit taller than my little cousins and sisters
Yeah.
that used to come. So excuse me, I would be able to grab like the higher ones, like the nice and
Yeah.
juicy ones, and we'd be picking, and I just go whoop. It
I love it, dude.
it
I love
wouldn't
it.
go in the bucket. It would go
Mm.
in mine. You got to do in my mouth because you're putting in the labor. You're putting in the
Mm.
work, right?
And you're literally picking the berries while the bears, it can be,
Yeah,
get
exactly. The bears are eyeballing you, Paul.
full eating the bears for the berries as well. So,
It's
Yeah.
like it's a two for
many
one.
black,
They get you. They
yeah,
get you. They get
Oh,
they get a 2 for 1.
yeah.
I love
well,
that.
that would be a
Awesome.
triple threat because my grandmothers would be upset, and my little sister and the bear.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, both of you. It's always a pleasure, and I'm just honored being able to have this on our network and be able to give to you guys a podcast on our network. And I just thank you. I just learned so much, and we all need to. I think more and more. So
Yeah.
have a great rest of your day. Sean, any last famous words?
Hey man, McWitch, Chief McWitch is thank you in Anishinaabe. In Coasalish, it's Heiska. We'll see him.
Hedgeka.
Yeah,
I love
Heiska.
that.
And you know what? It's all about the bears. It's about nourishing. It's about nourishment. We're going to get ready for the survival next month. Come back and watch us next month. All about the survival. And we're just, we're so excited to be on this podcast with you, Jay. And hey, you're going to what we're going to come up with next month.
I'm not worried about you. Don't worry, Sean. You'll be doing. I'm worried about the Survivor thing a little. You know, I'm a little. You might have something in store that it's going to blow my mind even more. Anyways, thanks so much, both of you. Have a great rest of your day. And to everyone else, we have a big show tomorrow. Robert Irvine's back, and he's going to be here with his book. Back. First time on the show. Chef Robert Irvine, as you may know from Restaurant Impossible, he's going to be on the show tomorrow. And then also in the morning, we have a tech show with Dylan and his team over at Notch. So thanks again to the Howling Moons crew and Sean and Paul. And we'll be back again tomorrow with more stuff on our show. So great stuff. Thanks again. And everyone else, have a great rest of your day and get out there and support our industry. Cheers.